So this week I'm doing something a little different, and I'm not going to do a super long version of this, and I'll just release this quick thing after the game. So here we go. This week I play Drops, and he has Hard Trick Room. Hard Trick Room and Crobat, really. And I guess these guys are mid-speed, but whatever. I just kind of looking at what I've brought, what he's brought. I think these are things that he'll have to prep for. At least they would be wise to prep for. I'm not going to bring Clefable. I'm not going to bring Thundurus. Thundurus can hit some things hard, but Marowak's annoying. Having to play around that is annoying. That's a big reason. Nidoking I also expect to see just because it's got a lot of coverage and it resists this. So I don't really want to play those games, so I'm just not going to. Simple Follow Me too. Let's Stack a Cackle will murder this thing. Marowak honestly will probably one-hit it in some scenarios. Just hopefully it's enough bench pressure because it's my leading killer and I brought it every game that he'll prepare something for it and then, you know, it just won't be there, so it'll be kind of a wasted slot. That's the idea there. I thought about keeping Dragapult off because Ghost moves can be redirected. That's annoying. Stack Attack. If I go physical variant, I really can't go physical variant because this will murder it. Marowak can, I can kill Marowak, but also if there's Trick Room up, then, you know, I'm just kind of dead meat. And he has a lot of Trick Room, so he's probably going to get it up at some point. He also has Ally Switch on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, so it's going to be a lot of Ally Switching too. Just unrealistic that I stop every Trick Room. But even despite that, Dragapult, even despite Comfy and Gardevoir, there's just like a ton of immunities on his team. But I still think there's a reason to bring Dragapult, and that's because I'm going to run it special. I'm going to have Max Geyser. I'm probably going to have a Max Normal move for speed control, even though I'm still special, so like Hyper Beam or something. And then maybe a Ghost move. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with the last slot. But it's just like a tech thing. If he brings Crobat and really wants to lead Crobat, I can lead I can lead Dragapult, and I'm in a strong spot there. I'll outspeed him unless he's like Scarf Tailwind, but that seems insane. If he does that, just good for him. But it gives me an option there, and I think it's worth using it over. I'll get to my stuff in a bit, but I am going to bring Dragapult. Moltres is pretty solid overall. Stack Attack obviously is pretty scary, but and to a lesser extent, Comfy. Comfy just doesn't do a lot of damage to it offensively, even if Moltres isn't hitting it that hard back. But it's good into this. It's good into this. This is going to hit it hard, but then I'll probably kill back with Fiery Wrath. Same kind of thing with this, where these two things aren't going to kill it in one hit, so I'm definitely going to get some return damage. And if I like Max with Weakness Policy, then I'm in a really good spot. Overall, Moltres is just good into Trick Room, but it's good into this. Who cares about these things? One-shots this. I don't expect him to bring this either, just to have a good game, but yeah, there's that. I'm also going to bring Terrakion. I think it's one of my better physical damage options, particularly given that I can't bring physical Dragapult this game. Rock Slide gets around Ally Switch, Rock Slide gets around Follow Me. It's going to hit this thing really hard. I also think because of Terrakion, he'll go Coppleberry, whatever that thing's called. So I'm going to plan around that. I may not even put a fighting move on it. I might put a ground move. But I don't know. I still don't know yet what I'm going to do about that situation. If I go ground, then Thwacky's kind of, there's less synergy with it, but still kicking around what I'm doing there. Yeah. So those are 3 things that I am bringing. I think he brings these 3 for sure. He's brought them. Well, he didn't bring Stacka every week, but I think Stacka's pretty good into me here, to be honest with you. There aren't the things that it super fears, and you can put a berry on it. The things that it fears from me are physical, which is in its favor, given that it has a billion defense. And then I think these 2 are no-brainers. I think there's a really strong possibility he brings a Crobat if he thinks that, you know, I think my Dragapult is something that he might consider me not bringing because it's so weak into a few things. So maybe he'll think he can be the fastest thing out there. I don't know. Just it also gives him the Tailwind option. I think he'll bring a Fairy type. I don't know if he'll bring both Gardevoir and Comfy, but I think he'll bring one of them. Nido King, I think, is a need to bring because of Thunderous, and then I think the Cow he might just throw on there because it does everything. So we'll see there. For me, some easy decisions. Rhyme, while it is my only Trick Room setter, it's like bad into everything. So even if I survive and do anything, it has so little offensive output. It's just not worth it to me. I considered Clef, but I don't want to take redirect the stack attack of moves. I don't really want to take redirected Marowak moves either. Or Nido King. I don't know. If I do anything, if I bring any of these over, it'll probably be Clef, but I don't know what I want to get rid of. So I don't expect to see it here. Thunderous, I've said why. There's just a lot of things that are immune. I just want to click electric moves, and if I can't do that reliably, then it's hard to bring it. This wouldn't be terrible, but I also don't know how much like offensively it does for me. It's another thing weak to Stack Attacker. I have answers to Marowak, really with a lot of these. Even I'll get to Salazzle does too, but I don't know. It's not the worst, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was the best either, so I left it out. I don't know. I think it's competing with a spot with Omastar, and I want to bring Omastar this week. If you haven't seen, this is the Omastar game. But if I was to take Omastar out, I'd probably put Pelipper there. But I think I'm going to keep it as is. Tauros, not bad. Intimidate's okay, but I don't know. He's got the Ghost. He's got the Redirection. I don't know how much offensive output it's really even going to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. There will be a time for it. It's just not this week. It's not the Marowak week. Like, even if it, like, I feel like there's a good chance it could get burned or something. I don't necessarily, really, it's the same thing as Thunderous, where I want to be clicking normal moves with this, unless it's running a support version, but I think it would be damage here, and I would want to click normal moves, and it's hard to do that with the Quad Resist, the Ghost. Yeah, really just those two alone make it tough. And then there's Steelix, which isn't also the worst, but Marowak does a ton to it. It's going to struggle with Stack Attack. Stack Attack is just like better Steelix. Nido King will murder it. I don't know. Like, it's not the worst option, and it's kind of like Pelipper maybe, where I could slot it in, but I have to get rid of something, and I don't know what that would be yet. But I think if you see any of these, maybe I said Clef earlier, but it might be, yeah, it'll probably be Clef or Steelix that you would see get moved over, but I don't foresee either of them. So for the stuff I am bringing, Omastar, so it's got a lot of good resistances. It's neutral to Stack Attack a Stab. It resists the fire moves from Marowak at least, and it's got like base 115 defense, so it's pretty bulky on that side. Doesn't really care about Comfy except for Giga Drain, which I just now considered that he could be running grass coverage on these things, but I think I'm going to do it anyway just to get Omastar out of the way. Let's see. It's also got Haze, which is the main reason I wanted to bring it, is that I can, like, if he maxes turn 1 and kills something with Stack Attack, I can bring in Omastar. I'm pretty sure I'll probably have to run Rindo, honestly, because of the Giga Drain. But I'm going to run Rindo, and then hopefully I'll get my Haze off and be able to salvage the game from there. Moltres, like I said, really solid coverage. Very easy option for me to bring. Clicking Dark Pulse is very easy. Actually, is there even... Comfy is the only thing that resists that. So, very easy to click Dark Pulse, and that's what you want to see. Track-in, good offensive pressure. I'll probably, because this Comfy is actually pretty solid to me, so maybe I need to reevaluate the Dragapult slot in particular and make one of these like a Comfy killer, and Steelix seems like the better option for that. So, I'm going to sleep on this, but now the more I talk about it out loud, the more I think these two may switch. But for the moment, Tracking On's main physical threat. Clicking Rock Slide's the plan. I don't know what I'll do item-wise. I could even Choice Band Rock Slide would just hit really hard all the time. And that is something I am strongly considering. strongly considering. Thwacky, min speed Thwacky should help me a lot in ground. Actually, let's double check how fast is Thwacky. Let's type this in here real quick. I'm under the impression that it's slower than Indeedee. Oh, I have it up here. I'm done. Yeah, it is. So min speed Thwacky, unless he's doing something crazy like Iron Ball and Indeedee, but that's information that's useful to have too. But will allow me to get fake out control. I can fake out whatever I want turn 1, unless he like keeps Indeedee in the back, but then that's fine because then I like Thwacky's moves too. I'm not sure what I'll do. Grassy Glide, fake out will be 2 things. I think knockoff could be useful. It's like it's dead in the water versus Marowak, but if I could get a knockoff off, then that's nice because that will lower its offensive output a lot. And maybe I can even live it to EV, or maybe I can EV it to live like a Flare Blitz from a knocked off Marowak. That doesn't seem impossible with Eviolite. So I would say those 3 moves likely. And then I don't know about the last one. He's got a lot of like tech coverage, so I'm just gonna play with that in Showdown and see what happens. Salazzle is my other fake out option. I can actually lead Salazzle. Let me back this up. If he does something like a Indeedee stack attack lead, and I lead Salazzle anything, I can fake out with Salazzle on the first turn, switch in Thwacky, which will give me Grassy Terrain. I can fake out whatever's Trick Rooming, and then ideally he follows me with the Indeedee, and it doesn't matter. Then the next turn I can fake out again with Thwacky and either attack with the Salazzle, which probably unlikely. If it's stack attack out there, I'd probably just switch again and then continue to fake out the stacka and then see what happens the last turn. I guess I'd want to. I gotta make sure I have something that's good against Indeedee stacka as my like 4th mon. But anyway, I can pivot a lot with those 2. It's also my beat up target for Terrakion if he doesn't like. I don't know. The more I think about it, I may not even try that, and I might just run another coverage move and like the threat of the beat ups there. But he's got the Indeedee. That's something I'm gonna have to think about too. It might just not even be worth trying. And then finally, the Dragapult, like I've said, for Crobat, it's tough. It's tough to say what I'm gonna do. I may also get rid of Salazzle for the Steelix. These 2 are probably the most. I think these 4 are definitely coming because I've committed to Omastar this week. And then these 2 I have to think about, and I do think I should bring Steelix for the Comfy. I think it's the best thing I have on my team against the Comfy. The other option would be Clefable. That's actually not bad either, because he couldn't do weakness policy stuff, although I don't know how much he'll actually even try. But it means that Omastar can't get Giga Drained. I have like no offense in that scenario, but whatever. But no, I don't think I want that. I think I want the Steelix. So the Steelix will be on here. One of these 2 will be gone, and it depends. I'm leaning Pulp, but we'll see. So there it is. Hopefully this wasn't as long as the last one, and I'll put this up right after the game.